and gold dragons were actually the good guys. This game basically took all the myths from the last 5,000 years and mashed them together into one big rulebook. Then you have movies like How to Train Your Dragon. This was a huge shift in how we think. For thousands of years, the goal was to kill the dragon. But in that movie, the goal is to befriend the dragon. It shows that our culture is changing. We don't want to just destroy the things we are afraid of anymore, we want to understand them. Think about Smaug from The Hobbit. J.R.R. Tolkien, the guy who wrote it, was an expert on old myths. He took the greed of Fafnir and the size of the European dragons and created the most famous dragon of all time. Smaug isn't just a dumb animal, he's smart, he's talking, and he's very, very arrogant. He represents the worst parts of being a powerful person. Why did people start telling these stories? For a long time, people thought it was because of dinosaur bones. Imagine you are a farmer 2,000 years ago. You are digging in your field and you find a skull that's as big as a cow, but it has sharp teeth like a lion. You've never seen a dinosaur. You don't even know what extinction is. What are you going to think? You're going to think, wow, there must be giant monsters living around here. In China, people used to find dragon bones all the time. They would actually grind them up and use them for medicine. We know now that those were mostly bones from ancient elephants or dinosaurs, but back then, it was proof that dragons were real. There is also a very cool theory from a scientist named David Jones. He thinks our fear of dragons is actually built into our DNA. Think about our ancestors millions of years ago when they were just tiny monkeys in the trees. What were the three things that could eat them? Large cats, like leopards, giant snakes, and birds of prey, like eagles. If you take a cat, a snake, and an eagle and you mush them together, what do you get? You get a dragon. A dragon has the body and claws of a big cat, the scales and tongue of a snake, and the wings of a giant bird. Our brains might just be programmed to react to a mega predator that combines all our oldest fears into one package. That would explain why little kids are often afraid of monsters under the bed that look a lot like dragons, even if they've never seen a movie about them. Hashtag real dragons. You can visit if you really want to see a dragon. You don't need a time machine or a magic wand. You just need a plane ticket to Indonesia. The Komodo dragon is the largest lizard on Earth. They can grow to be 10 feet long and weigh over 150 pounds. They don't breathe fire, but they are just as scary. For a long time, people thought Komodo dragons killed their prey because their mouths were full of gross bacteria that caused infections. But recently, scientists found out they actually have venom glands. They bite you, the venom stops your blood from clotting, and then they just follow you around until you get too tired to run. They also have a sense of smell so good that they can taste a dying animal from miles away. In Australia, there used to be an even bigger lizard called megalodon. It was twice as big as a Komodo dragon. It went extinct about 50,000 years ago, which is right around the time the first humans arrived in Australia. Can you imagine being a person back then and seeing a 20-foot-long lizard running at you? You'd definitely go home and tell a story about a dragon. Those stories probably got passed down for generations and grew bigger and scarier every time they were told. Hashtag the symbol that never dies. So, what have we learned? Dragons aren't just one thing. They are a way for us to talk about the things that scare us and the things we admire. They are the fire that destroys our homes and the rain that grows our food. They are the greed that rots our hearts and the wisdom that we spend our lives searching for. The reason the dragon is the most popular mythological creature is because it is flexible. We can make a dragon whatever we need it to be. If we need a villain for a hero to fight, we have the Western dragon. If we need a wise teacher to show us the way, we have the Eastern dragon. If we want to explore the bond between humans and nature, we have dragons we can train. Even though we know they aren't real in the physical sense, dragons are real in our minds. They represent the unknown. They represent the edge of the map. Back in the old days, mapmakers would draw dragons on the parts of the world they hadn't explored yet. They wrote, "Here be dragons." Today, we might not have many unexplored spots on the map, But we still have plenty of dragons in our lives, things that are scary, big, and seem impossible to beat. As long as humans have imaginations, and as long as we are still a little bit afraid of the dark, dragons will be right there with us. They are the ultimate survivors of the human story. They have lived through the age of swords and shields, and they are doing just fine in the age of computers and space travel. I think the world would be a lot more boring without dragons. They remind us that there is still magic in the world, even if it's just the magic of a really good story. They remind us to be brave like St. George, but also to seek wisdom like the dragons of the East. Whether they are breathing fire or bringing the rain, dragons are a part of it. They are our fears, our dreams, and our history all wrapped up in scales and wings. If you want to dive deeper into the world of mythical beasts and legends, check out the video on your screen right now.